Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever it is you are based in the world. Welcome to another of these regular online Aston Martin Owners Club video events. My name's Andrew Fawkes. I'm currently the Area 4 rep in the UK. That's Bristol and Somerset in the southwest. Today's theme is, as I mentioned earlier, filming Aston Martin cars, and I'm delighted that we have with us Simon Tiller, who's the founder of Creative One Productions, a professional videographer. Good morning, Simon. Are you there?
I am here. Hello.
Good morning. Good to see you. Now, a lot of you may have seen already Simon's work. He's created a 3-minute odd film for the Aston Martin Owners Club, which is now visible on the club's YouTube channel. And that talks about events and publications and everything else that the club gets up to around the world. What I wanted to show you now is Simon's show reel, which shows you the breadth of his work with other clients. See what you think.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you all. This is my first live. I've never actually done a live before, so bear with me.
Well, you're doing all right so far, so thank you for that. Yeah, so as you mentioned, you can see your work on the club's YouTube channel already, which is great.
Yeah.
Just tell us, well, first of all, how did that film come about?
How did all the Aston Martin films come about, really?
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Well, really, it started back about 4 years ago when the dealer principal, Simon Lane of Aston Martin Cambridge, got in touch because he had this wild idea to make the Blades editions, the Vantage S Blades editions, which actually has become it was the first one of the Wings series that everyone knows about. Now, not many people know about the Blades edition because not everyone knows who the Blades are. They're an aerobatic team in Sywell in Northamptonshire, and he was very passionate about flight and military and everything like that. And he managed to convince Aston Martin to create 5 unique Vantage S's with the logos and the numbers paired with the planes. And really, he got in touch for me to document that handover experience, because it wasn't just a case of giving the keys over in the dealership. He wanted to have this amazing handover, and that was where the first sort of flyover, we got the cars on the runway, the blades flew over, it had the smoke, we shot it from helicopters, hanging out of other Astons, chasing them down the track to film this whole experience, which for me was the first car film I'd done. And it was incredible. We was asked to do a basic shoot, but when the word Aston Martin was mentioned, I brought about 7 people. And we pulled it out of the bag. And from there, you know, we went on to do the Spitfire 80, the Red Arrows editions, the DBS 59, all incredible shoots, all amazing in their own right.
Having seen your show reel, I'm always moved at the very end of your show reel when you have the silhouette of the Spitfire flying through the golden sky. It's a brilliant shot.
That is shot, yeah, that's shot from a helicopter. And you know, the most incredible thing about the Spitfire 80 shoot was being able. I was in a helicopter, and these Spitfires are next to us. And at that point, I had to sort of take over direction. I was directing rather than sort of physical filming in the helicopter, because we had hired a proper camera ship, you know, with the cameras on board. So we needed those kind of guys to get the shots correct. So I was directing with what I want, and I was sat in the front seat, and there's a screen, and I can see you know, we're filming, and I said, oh, could you just zoom in a bit and do that? But it all looked amazing. And then they the pilot said to me, oh, you know, is there anything specific you want? And I said, can I just bank to the right? Can I, you know, go down? Can I go up? And for the next 20 minutes, I was directing them like they were little remote control aeroplanes. I was telling these Spitfires what to do, and it's just incredible, you know. And yeah, we had this sunset, and I said, look, let's just get them, you know, let's get them flying through that, you know, that would just be incredible. And yeah, it's just opportunities, and it's just looking out for all these opportunities all the time. You know, you have to keep the eye on the ball all the time. What would look good? What would look good? Yeah, amazing days.
How did you get into videography in the first place?
I left school, didn't know what to do, and media looked fun at college, so I chose it. And then I, for work experience, got a job at a local video production company. Enjoyed it. Didn't really want to go to university. It wasn't really me. The guy at the time encouraged me. No, you must go to university. I was like, no, I don't want to do it. I just want to earn money. You know, I like doing the job. I encouraged him to give me a full-time job. I was there for about 3 years, and I thought I can do this myself. I could see all the money coming in, and I thought I could do this myself. So I set up my company back in 2002. So a long time ago. But for 10 odd years, I focused on events. You'll get videographers that are just commercial only. And the problem with that, what I think the problem with that, if you don't have event experience, if you have never filmed a wedding or a one-off event or something that's only just going to happen once, you know, you have to do so many takes, otherwise you're not used to it. I'm used to, if that bride is coming down the aisle, you've got one chance, mate. You've got to get it once, and you've got to get it good, and you've got to get it in an emotional way. You've got to get the right every angle, whether it's a wedding or you know, some sort of an amazing event or speeches or whatever it is. And you know, I feel that I am very experienced in that. You know, if something's going to happen in 10 minutes time, I'll be all over it. I'll be able to get it. I'll get every single moment without missing it. I don't need to stage it. I don't need a storyboard. I don't need all of that. Yeah, I can get it, and I can get it well. And it just seems to be my thing, you know, what I can do. And I think that is, it's experience, really. It's knowing what you need to document and what you don't need to document, and it's choosing the right things.
So when you're going back to that Spitfire shot, when you were in that, you're directing rather than shooting yourself. Did you have to sort of take yourself out of that, if you like, comfort zone, and start telling people what you were looking for?
Yeah, it was a little bit at first, a little bit daunting, because I felt a little bit out of control, because I'm used to, I mean, I do everything. I edit, I film, direct, I, you know, go to the meetings, I do everything, you know, salesman. But yeah, with that, yeah, at first, I would think I was in such awe of what was going on, you know, and they were just capturing general shots. But then suddenly sort of, yeah, put myself back in and think, well, hang on a minute, no, we've got to get the right things, the things that I need. And then, yeah, when I film, I think about the editing, because I'm editing it, and how is it going to go together? How's the shot going to be used? Is that useful? Is it not? Let's don't film it, because I'm never going to use it. So it's a beautiful shot, but I'm never going to use it. Don't bother. So it's sort of, you have to think all the time about editing. Now, if I film that, what will that connect with? You know, you can't just film one little bit on its own, because it needs to connect with something. You know, if there's just one sunset shot, it might not work. You have to have a graduation. So, oh, have I just filmed daylight and now it's sunset? Is there a gradual, you know, process to that? Have I got the shots? It's all these things that constantly go around my mind. a lot of these Aston Martin shoots, because we've had to, as part of procedure, you know, because everyone needs to know what's going to happen when, where's the cameraman, where's he going to be, what's he going to do, what's he going to film. You have to have done a storyboard, but it's very restrictive. It's very annoying to have to do that. I understand you've got to do that, but it kind of, the creativity sort of stops, because I have to just almost ignore that on the day and just do what I need to do, you know. But yeah, it's I have a passion for it, you know, and it's about getting the passion to the people, showing everyone, you know, it's people and passion. It's getting that product to the people, you know, showing them the emotion, you know. I mean, I've never been into a Spitfire. I'm not really into planes, but wow, am I into them now, you know, by seeing it, you know, by connecting with it, as with the Aston, you know. Never really were into them, beautiful cars, but once I started filming them, started understanding the people, the types of people that drive them, you know, almost the family that you're in, and the respect for the cars, and you know, there's a lot of stuff that you don't realize until you start doing it.
That's music to the Aston Martin Owners Club members' ears, I'm sure. As is the passion. We can see that. One of the things that I was thinking about, that, you know, I've you know, done bits of filming on my phone, on the camera, and all that kind of stuff, and I'm sure plenty of people listening have done the same. But what you're touching on here is the difference between the professional approach and the amateur. And I'm wondering what else is in there that, you know, the either the pitfalls that we might fall down, like, can the bride walk down the aisle again, please, because I missed it first time, you know, or anything else technical in the background that we probably don't have an understanding of, just how, you know, how different a professional videographer is against any of us with a mobile phone. I
mean, the first thing, you know, it is not just about the shot that you're getting, it's about the respect for the subject. So let's say if you're filming a DBR1, you need to treat that like the Queen. You know, you need to, you know, keep your distance. You need to be very mindful of that. You need to be very mindful it's not only expensive. You need to be mindful that, you know, that perhaps the clothing you're wearing could so easily scratch it. You need to just, you know, if you have any crew around you, make sure that they are completely up to speed with what this vehicle is, you know. And, you know, sometimes the actual shot itself is secondary. It's all about, you know, having all the preparation, making sure you understand it. Well, what's special about this vehicle? What's a DBR1? I didn't know what a DBR1 was until I'd done the DBS 59 shoot. It meant nothing to me. You start researching, you start realizing, and you start to understand that it's the most incredible noise when you hear it start up. It sounds like a Spitfire, you know, the noise of it. And it's like, you know, so you think, well, I have to capture that. That's important, you know. You know how maybe the steering wheel, the wood, all the stuff. You have to really understand it, you know. Then you film it, you know. So it's there's a lot to it, and I think, you know, as a professional, I think, yeah, it's research, it's understanding, it's respect. There's a lot that goes along with it, and I think, you know, not that everyone's like it. There's loads of decent people out there, but a lot of people don't respect. They just go out, they think, yeah, I've got a camera phone, we'll just film it. They're all over it, they're sticking their hands all over it, they're getting it dirty, they're not respecting it. And as well, when you treat something with respect, if you're working with the owner or the dealership or whoever it is, they will in turn give you opportunities. And those opportunities mean that you can do more stuff, you're trusted, you know, because you're respecting their product, you know, and you get more out of it, you know. So yeah, it's that's kind of perhaps my take on the question. Yeah.
Well, take us through the day of the DBS filming, which features on the video that you made for the Aston Martin Owners Club. And I know there's a few stories behind that one, isn't it? It's a bit of a good day out.
Yeah, there's, you know, there's stories about all of them, really. I mean, DBS 59 is the last one I done, and so that was in Le Mans. But there was, the thing is, with a lot of the films that I do, see, I document the full process. So from initial concept, you know, before the wheels are even chosen, you know, through to, you know, the actual handover. So the DBS 59, let's take that one for example. I had to do a trailer first, a teaser trailer, And the teaser trailer, what can we tell you about that? It's actually my dad driving the DBS down the local bypass to get some cool shots. Because the problem is that I get given these cars, and we have to, because the DBS 59 wasn't made yet, but we've got to produce a trailer for the dealership to sell it. So I have to fake it. So we were given a DBS Superleggera to and I had to sort of colour it down, make it look green, like it's going to look. I was given a grey one. I have to get a family member or a trusted friend to drive that vehicle to then get some moving shots, to then tease it in. And then we also needed to link it with, well, what is the DBS 59? And it's to commemorate the DBR1 Le Mans race where they had a victory. And so I think it was Donington racetrack. So I'd done the DBS filming, and then I needed to go to Donington to film the DBR1. And the DBR1, there were so many restrictions. I wasn't allowed to put a GoPro in the car. I wasn't allowed to sit in the car to film it. I wasn't allowed to do anything apart from be on the side of the track and film it from a distance, which is boring from a film point of view. I was very disappointed. But I also knew in the back of my mind that these are always, it's just procedure. You have to do these things. You've got to stick to the track's rules. And I'm not promoting to break the rules, but you have to sort of tick all the boxes to get yourself in. And when you're there, normally little opportunities arise and you get what you need. So anyway, I'll get there early morning. The DBR1 comes out of the lorry. It comes from Aston Engineering up in Derby, and the guys are all dirty and they're all rugged, and all right, mate, yeah, I'm good. I'm here to film the car. Oh yeah, great. What do you need? I said, well, maybe start up. I said, I'm not allowed to get in it. I'm not allowed to put a camera in it. I'm not allowed to do anything. And I said, oh, it's a bit of a shame, isn't it? I said, yeah. So he said, well, I'll tell you what, when we start it up, we've got to warm it up because we can't put it on the track straight away. We have to warm the engine. So he said, just hop in. We'll spin you around the car park. And there was an Aston Martin event going on there. I'm not sure what the event was, but it was in a big white tent. There was people in there having coffee and their breakfast and bagels. All of a sudden, they start it up, and you can see people in the tent. What's that? Because DBR1 wasn't part of their event. It comes out, and the guy goes, hop in. And I'm sort of carefully trying to get in this car that I was aware that is super expensive. I get in, and he's literally hammering around the car park, spinning it around the car park. But I'm holding the camera at the same time. I'm able to get the steering wheel going and the gear changes. And there's all these people in the tent looking, what is this DBR1 doing? But they said, they offered, so the opportunity was there and it was great. So you get opportunities like that, there's so many of these events have had so many sort of interesting things happen. I mean, if anyone knows about the Red Arrows shoot, so the Red Arrows, the money shot, the main shot, there's always a shot that's good, and for the Blades edition, it was the cars going over, the planes going over the cars on the runway, and he had some smoke. That was great. We set the camera up and you have to hope that it's going to get in the shot. Yeah, I mean, obviously experience helps me think, yeah, it's going to do it, but you've got to get off the runway. Got that one fine. The Spitfire 80, yeah, that was fine. The Red Arrows one, we were going to have 10 Red Arrows jets going over 10 Red Arrows cars, and to get it all in the shot was a bit stressful. So myself and the photographer, that was going to be the absolute money shot. These cars with all the colours, that was the one. And we knew Simon Lane then, who was working for, he needed that shot. So we set it up. We leave the runway. We go over. We're waiting. The jets come in. They're getting closer. The noise is incredible. We're all excited. The smoke comes on, and it's white. And it carries on, and it's white. And it gets to the cars, and it's still white. And I look at the photographer, and he looks at me, and we're like, what the hell is that? It's white. We need the colours. Where's the colours? Well, we look at each other, we're in absolute shock, because all morning it was all about this shot. I think I was mattered. And it turned out that actually literally 30 minutes before they flew over, the Red Arrows pilots decided to divulge to Simon Lane that a couple of days prior they'd done an event an air show, and they'd put the smoke on, and the dye had gone onto a car dealership and it marked the cars. So they made a final decision that they wouldn't put the dye in. But for us, that wasn't good. But if you look at the photos and the videos, everything official was coloured, and it took me 2.5 days to colour the smoke in on that video for the 2-second shot you see.
Wow.
So it's actually white smoke, but it was coloured in. So, things like that, you have to, we could not have it. We had to have the coloured smoke.
So you couldn't get on the helicopter radio this time and say, chaps, could you just run that round again, please? So we
No, and that's the thing. It doesn't work like that. You have one shot. You've got to get it right. And, there's always you might not get it at some point, but, you play it safe. You put multiple cameras down, you make it wide, you make it safe. There's shots that are important. I could have got it super creative and done it all different, but it could have been a risk. So you just have a nice wide shot, and you get it safe, and you get it in the bag.
And it's super impressive. I mean, every time
it's great
as well.
The Spitfire 81, we had I sent one of my guys up in the helicopter, and he was filming the cars, and I could see. I'm looking up at the helicopter, thinking, is the door open? And I said to him, the door open? And I'm like, no, it's not open. Anyway, he comes back down, and he's like, the helicopter banked to the right, and the door fell open. And he, absolutely like, oh my God, the door fell open. And I zoomed in, I actually got this on camera, and I zoomed in. Yeah, you can actually see the helicopter banked. The door wasn't closed. They hadn't closed the door on it properly. And you see just him with the camera, and I'm thinking, wow, I'm glad that wasn't me at that moment. So, but we have some amazing things. I mean, I had the DBS 59. To go back to that, actually, the event was for a week. I was flown out there for a week. My taxi every day was a helicopter to the track, or to the chateau where all the guests were staying. We had 24 of these vehicles on the track, all lined up, and it was incredible. You've got all the crowds and everyone, they're all looking at, the pre-race stuff, what's going on, all these 24 DBS 59s roll out and all lined up, and just to be on there, and to be filming, and it's such an honor to film these vehicles, and to be part of it, just incredible projects, and they've really kind of like given me passion and want to do more. It's I can't stop. I need more of these. They're just incredible projects, incredible cars, So, and the people are amazing. I mean, I filmed Porsche and Tesla and McLaren, and let's just say the people who drive them are not Aston Martin drivers. They're different. Aston Martin drivers are decent people, nice people. People you want to talk to, people that give you time, people that respect your work as well. So yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice to hear. Thank you for that.
For me, it's a personal moment, was filming at the super hangars, the St Athens super hangars, now where the DBX is made. So before there was the concourse there.
That's right. Well, yes, a lot of us were there. I certainly there.
Yeah. So I was there they launched the Red Arrows, the addition to the Aston Martin Owners Club at that event. So at the back of one of the hangars, I created films. They had these huge screens put in, and all of a sudden, it was at a set time, this countdown came on, and it was booming through these super hangars, massive hangars, and then sort of 5 minutes later, my film plays of the previous editions that led up to the Red Arrows edition, and the sort of the feeling that gave me was incredible, in that place, knowing what was coming, that it was going to be turned into a factory, knowing, all the history, and and then to sort of show my work within those hangars was incredible, So
I wonder if you to get back there now they're making DBXs down there.
Well, I've not been there, so someone needs to get me in there.
Yeah, I think there's a to-do list for somebody that's on the
yeah, I've been to Gaydon many a times. I've been on factory tours because I've been offered them with people. I've been there with the owners to see their cars being built. I mean, that's the thing. I sort of documented it from start to finish, and I would be seeing the car being painted, and to see the owners' faces, they go around and they go, they now say that this is actually your vehicle. This is one of the cars, and I'm filming that, documenting that. It's incredible stuff that you can't ever get back. You've got to get that moment. And I love getting that moment. I thrive on getting the moment, and then storing it. I love storing the moments. So
I think you've done quite a lot of work with Steve Waddingham now. I think he's a great mate of the club, of course, as well as
yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he's watching. He loves all this kind of stuff, Steve. He's a great guy, and we've not released it yet. We do actually have a project that we've worked together on, and just with COVID and everything and changes with Steve and myself, we filmed one that's actually gone out, which is the history at Bloxham of the DB7. Yeah. That was super interesting. That was really walking around Bloxham with Steve. But then we started on one with the actual history of Aston Martin, Martin Bamford and all the real, right down to the very start. Went around London, looked at all the different places where they lived and their family and stuff, and we've got some incredible footage. And I'm really hoping at some point me and Steve can jump on that and get that released to you guys, because we've got some really lovely footage. Went into the RAC club and all sorts of places that are actually quite difficult to get in, but Steve walked in, used his charm, and we managed to get in there, which was great. Got some lovely footage. It's lots of interesting things.
Yeah, like you said, it's about the people, and that's definitely what the club's all about. And you were saying earlier on that you didn't really know much about Aston Martin until you started meeting some of the people and seeing some of the cars, and then you are sitting in the passenger seat of a DBR1, which is probably only worth about 30 million quid, something like that. Going rates these days for them, but there aren't that many of them on the market, that's for sure.
I think I fell in love with them as well, because I was given the dealership vehicles quite often to get shots, so yeah, I mean, I've driven all the major models, the DB11s and Vanquish S, and I had a Vanquish S for a weekend, and managed to get them for my son's birthday. I mean, my son's completely passionate about it now. I've brought him to many of the events. He absolutely loves it, because he's kind of grown up with them a little bit, because his dad's brought Aston Martins home, and I've spent one day filming them and 2 days having fun. And it's great. But again, you treat them with respect. They're cars that you take your partner to from a nice meal in. You're not doing crazy stuff in it. They're nice vehicles to look at and cherish.
You've kindly offered to become the club's official videographer, which we're delighted about. And I'm wondering how you see your work, both the dealership and elsewhere, and how that fits into what the club's trying to achieve, particularly obviously on the video front.
Yeah, well, I mean, from what I've seen, obviously, you guys are doing your absolute best with everything, and video is a technology that needs a bit of help, I think, and it's not just people can film stuff, but it's being able to get it online. It's being able to present it nicely. It's about editing it. It's it's about making it not too long, and I just felt there's so many of these things that are going on, projects and events and concours and all this amazing passion that is not documented. It needs to be documented, it needs to be stored, and it needs to be shared with everyone. Everyone should be seeing this stuff, and even if it is a case of it will shot with a phone or whatever, well, let's help you out. Let's tell you how to film it correctly, because over lockdown I've had to change and adapt and evolve a little bit. All these events have stopped for me. I haven't done anything cool, really, particularly. I've spent a lot of time doing property films, and I actually do the property films with my iPhone 11 Pro. Now, I've never promoted a phone, and I still don't really promote the phone. Once I can get back out there, I'll be using the full kit. But the phones are good. They're good in certain environments, and they're good when a professional's not around. And if people understand how to use the phone, how to use it efficiently and turn it the right way. I mean, a lot of people will film it portrait. Don't film it portrait. Film it this way, because does your TV screen that way? No, it's this way. Yeah. And yes, we can turn it around, but it doesn't always work like that. And it's about educating people. I think within the club, there needs to be some gentle education on how we can how we can get all this stuff done. I'm more than happy to come and shoot some events and do stuff, but there's nothing stopping everyone filming and documenting things that are going on, and we perhaps put them together, and I help you give some advice on the forum how you should be doing it. A lot of people don't realize that their iPhones can film in 4K by changing a button, lots of things that can be done. So I just want to offer my advice, my help, my experience. It just seems a big waste that a lot of this stuff is not being shown or stored or documented.
Yeah, I think you've pointed out that we are we've got a long way to go. We've got a lot of potential, but we've got a long way to go to get really anywhere near the kind of content, volume of content, and the quality of content, perhaps as well. That we can.
It's time consuming, and professionals, do cost, or they're not cheap, and and that's why I thought at least if I can, give you a kickstart, even just dabble and help and do the best I can for you, it really gives you a kickstart and helps you. And 2 years down the line, you're going to be in a better place. So
yeah, so that's great news. So we've got the sort of content that you've produced that we can use. We've got the content that we'll produce ourselves that you can help us produce. And one of the questions that I got outside of the session was from America, and Wyman over there said, how can the work that you do help people who are based in Australia, the Middle East, the Far East, given that you're UK based? And clearly, what you're talking about is even just giving advice on how to capture events in a way that we can then edit, or you can advise them on how to do it. Do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just about helping them, just some steps to make it happen. Changing the settings on the phone, the way you hold the phone. There's simple ways of holding a phone and getting a shot that looks quite professional. You're not going to have a tripod on, you're not going to have stuff like that, so use environments, look at where you are. Can you sit on a table? Can you rest it on something? It's about, you can hold your arm in a certain way to keep it steady because it's more stable like this, it's all, for long periods of time. Don't zoom in, because the zoom on an iPhone, it might look okay on the screen, but it's not good. So use your feet, go closer, and it'll get it in better quality. There's lots of things. A lot of people will put it in WhatsApp to send to people. WhatsApp's okay, but what happens? Your film is okay, and then you put it into WhatsApp, and the person that receives it, again, it might look okay, but WhatsApp compresses it. It has to compress it. It's just how it works, the technology. And then they might send it to someone else, and it goes through 5 different people, and the video ends up being shocking. But they didn't really realize. So use WeTransfer. WeTransfer is free. You can send up to 2 gig free. It's all these little techniques, and it retains the quality.
Yeah.
There's ways of sharing events that maybe more, it should be a bit more private, maybe to only to members only. You don't want the world to see. We can get them in a place where people can see it. That's got a password, that I can set up for you at no cost to the club. So.
Which is great news, thank you. And editing as well. I'm guessing if somebody uploads a piece of footage, you can chop it to the right size. We can put.
Yeah, again, I can. You can never make it. It is what it is. The clip is what it is. If it's not so good quality, it will never get better. I can color it a little bit. Sometimes colors are not so good. You can sometimes take the grain off if it's been filmed in a dark environment. But yeah, you can chop it up. You can slow it down. A big thing to editing is music.
Yeah,
that's my thing. Emotive music. As the years have gone on, I think I spoke to you, Andrew, before about it. I've realized that my skill is, I'm jack of all trades. When you run your own business and stuff, I can film, I can edit, I can sell, I can do everything. Am I the best cameraman? No. Best editor? No. There's lots of people better than me, but it's how you put the stuff together, and it doesn't need all these fancy effects. A lot of the time people completely ruin their films by putting all this stuff on it. If you watch a film, James Bond, something like that, apart from maybe green screen they might have, it's all simple cuts. A film always just cuts. It doesn't need all these wacky transitions and these slides and this and that to be effective. It doesn't need it. As long as it's shot well and it has some emotive music and you can connect with the user, that's all it needs. Me and my son actually I was a little bit nervous last night. I was looking at some of my films. I was speaking to my son about it. I said, I'll have a look at some of the old films, get to grips with, what I've done recently, in the last few years. And then we looked at something else. And I said, Harry, can you see what I mean about the music? He's like, yeah, I'm bored already. We was looking at something else. It was some Aston Martin thing we watched from something someone had made, and it was dreadful. We didn't connect with it. Mm-hmm. And you can massively lose the audience with music.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because music is the biggest single link to emotion in terms of film, isn't it?
Yeah. So, I've got I pay for software. I've got access to not sure how many, 100,000 different songs, all
and
copyright free.
Because you're going to have the copyright as well, which is
the
other trap people fall down. Yeah.
Years ago, it used to be a little bit more tricky. You'd have to pay quite a lot of money. I mean, let's take the Spitfire 80 film, and I mean that one. I've just actually checked out how many views that's had. That one has had just under 1 million views. Wow. The Spitfire 80 film. It's had 907,000 views. Now, you can't just put any old music on. I mean, you've got to make sure, because it's going to the masses, that it's you've got the correct copyright. The music that's contained in the Spitfire 80 films cost me £800, because back then there wasn't quite, you had to specifically license it in a particular way. Yeah. It's changed a bit over recent years, which can actually make it much easier, to license it, just with a smaller fee per month with your software. So yeah, it's just putting random music on is no good.
Henry Delamere sent 3 questions, so I'll fire those at you now, if I may, Simon.
Yeah, sure.
His first one was, what types of videography do you offer? I'm not sure I understand that question.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm open. The way I've always done it, the way I've always operated it is, the client's got to be right for me as well. I've got to be able, I'm not just interested in taking the money. I've got to be able to do the job. I've got to be able to feel confident that, yeah, that's my thing. I can do that. I mean, I got an inquiry yesterday from a lady. She wants a music video, and it's, I think she said it's drill beats. She's the oldest woman who does drill beats. So I had to ask my son, what is a drill beat?
Yeah.
Some sort of rapping, grime music. And I just politely said back to her, Marcel, look, do you know what? I'm not for you. I don't understand the music. You need someone who's passionate about that music, who understands what a music video should be like for what you're trying to do, because you'll be paying for a film and I'll be doing you a disservice, because your film will go nowhere because it won't connect with the right people. So whenever a job comes in, I just assess it, and I can do anything really within reason. I don't really take on music videos. That's not my thing. But, brand promos, selling, if someone's got a product, and it needs promoting, that's great for video. Any sort of, information films, educational films, events, do events. Don't do weddings anymore. That's not really my thing. Only because I've done too many of them. I've done 50 a year for about 10 years. So I'm all wedded out. But I think, I used to get a lot of people, no one would really respect you if you're a wedding videographer, because they would just think that you're just a man with a camcorder. They didn't really think about it. There was everyone understands a photographer, but a videographer, they never really understand. And they also think you do photos, and I don't do photos. I'm video. It's I've forgotten what I was saying now, but
we're talking different types of videography.
Yeah, and so basically, it's just anything that I feel I can actually start it, finish it, and get someone there. Right. It's got to work.
Really, yeah,
got to work. And it's like some of the, I mean, the there's certain films. There's been the occasional client where they've made it big. It's the product's gone. It's got to go on TV, or it's got something like that. And I'd say to them, look, our journey's finished now, because you need the TV guys. You need the big boys, and that's okay. We shake hands and we move on. Because you need to know your limits. There's a certain market for me. And so just really, it's a question that it really does depend on it. Pretty much anything, really, if I feel I can do it.
Well, and important, you said you won't if you can't, which is great. Roger Napper sent a question through. Thanks, Roger. To what extent do you rely on the use of drones?
My speciality is ground videography. It's just normal filmmaking. I am a believer in always using the specialist for each job. You've got to have the license. You've got to have all these different things. You've got to do it correctly. I could get a drone, just throw it up. But that's not good when you're filming expensive cars, because you might crash it, you might get it wrong, you might film it in a no-fly zone and you get embarrassed when the police turn up. Drones are great, but drones need to be done in the correct way. So if someone says to me, we need a drone, no problem at all. I will pick up the phone and say, hey, whoever I use, I've got a few different companies that I'll call upon depending on the job. We've got the drone phone, and we'll say, hey, we need a drone, we'll get it done. So yeah, I do use it. I don't use it lots and lots because I don't personally have one. So I naturally try and do it without where possible. But yeah, if they need it, I will call on. It's becoming more and more popular. But yeah, it's just getting the right person to get it done properly. I've used it for a couple of shoots. I used one for a DB11 shoot. But again, it's the problem with the drones is that quite often the stuff that I've done is on racetracks or on military bases or on airfields. You can't use drones there. Yeah, you can throw a drone up in the countryside, do a couple of shots, of course, and that's easy. But a lot of the time, a lot of the stuff I've done hasn't given me the opportunity to do that really. But yeah, they're great things. They're great things. I don't fully understand everything about them because I try not to dabble in everything. I could do everything from graphics to photography to all sorts, but I try to be a bit focused on my thing, what I do.
Well, you mentioned there about, you could chuck them up in the countryside, etc., which pretty much leads to Hendrik's next question, which was, what's the coolest location you've ever used for a shoot?
Going to Le Mans, being on the racetrack, that was cool.
Yeah, understandably. I think we all very much associate with that one.
Yeah, just everything. Cool just from my perspective that, arriving from a huge chateau, going towards, you can see the racetrack in the distance and helicopters coming, you feel like the VIP, you're escorted in and you go to the Aston Martin hospitality tent, which if anyone's been to at the Mons is just incredible.
I think we're all offering to carry your bag next time, so that's fine.
Well, you go in. The first thing you do is you grab the portable charger that they give you. So they give you, because you're obviously there for 24 hours or whatever, how are you going to charge your phone? Because you're potentially going to stay there.
Yeah.
So they give you these branded Aston Martin portable chargers for your phone in a nice little case. Yeah, I'll have one of them. Made sure all the crew members had one of them. Obviously, I had to wear. I've got 7 of these, one for each day.
Have you got them in different sizes?
Different sizes. I've got the extra large one. And I get given a hat. This is from the DBS shoot. But the location is just incredible. It's the feeling. It's being able to be in these places where no one gets to go.
Henrik's last question: are there any memorable oops moments?
When I'd done the Le Mans film, I was working with a photographer, and we was given the directions. We was going from the chateau to there. It was about an hour drive. Now, we was given Hotel de France. We was given a road name and whatever. We put this into the sat nav. It comes up. And we're like, "Yep, that's great. 45 minutes away. We go there." And then we get a call. Where are you? We're almost there. They said, are you in the square? Yeah, we could see the square. We could see everything. It's all what they were saying. And you're not here. We realized that there was actually 2 of these addresses. Exactly the same. There was the same hotel name, the same everything. It wasn't the same one, obviously. And we realised that we was not in the right one. But luckily, we'd left in plenty of time. And that's the thing. And that's another important thing. Leave in plenty of time. You know, if you've got to be anywhere, always allow for a problem, allow for traffic, allow for everything. If I'm ever going to stress about a shoot, I never stress about the actual shoot. It's about the traffic. It's about getting there. It's about, are the people there? Can I find them? You know, that is the one for me is the stress, not my shoot. What I'm going to do. And you know, it turns out, we oh my God, you know, we drove like the wind all the way back 45 minutes to another place. Just as we got there, the DBI1 rolled out of the trailer truck, so we got the shot. You know, but that was a little bit of an oops moment. So.
I've got a question here from somebody called Gillian Fawkes, who I think might be my wife, and she's in a room somewhere else in the house.
Oh, okay.
So here you go. She says, as technology moves on, how do you future-proof your material so it can be seen for future generations?
Well, the internet is a great place. That's a great place, you know. I mean, as the years have gone on, I mean, when I first started, we were doing VHS. When I first started events, you know, and then it went on to DVD, and then it went on to Blu-ray. You know, DVDs had a period of rotting, you know, so we had to change them to Blu-rays. Then we went to USB, but if you don't use a USB for a long period of time, they can also be temperamental. And then we started, having online portals, which is a great place, you know, where you can put these bits and they kind of just stay there. And I never get rid of anything. I'm pretty bad for that. Believe it or not, since I've started, I actually have all the hard drives of every single project I've ever done, including all those 50 weddings a year for 10 years. Whether the hard drives actually load is another question, but I have it all. I can't bear to get rid of anything because it's a memory. It's a document of life. It's like, so not only do I keep it, a lot of professionals don't keep it. They have it in their contract that they do the edit, you know, after 6 weeks or whatever a month, the footage goes. Because hard drives are expensive, you have to store it, whatever. I've always kept it, just what I do. But with the internet now, you know, it's a really, really handy way. Not only have I got a hard, you know, backup copy or whatever, you know, it's just a great place and it's everywhere. You know, they get duplicated. It goes on YouTube. I normally put everything on YouTube as well as on the online portals, as well as on my computer. You know, what's next? I don't know what's next, you know.
Well, you're making a great point. We watched yesterday on YouTube a piece of film just popped up because that's how YouTube works, and it was the 1964 Le Mans race. And thankfully, you know, somebody had filmed it and then stuck it on the internet, and here we are now, you know, 60 years later, being able to watch it in the same way as presumably the person who put it on a piece of, you know, reel some years ago eventually uploaded it to the web, which is good for all of us.
I don't know. I don't know what else is next, but I can't even visualize what else is next. But for me to look after it, you know, that's sort of what I do. You know, make sure everyone, any client I work for, I make sure they have a high quality file, so they've got it in case it, you know, I lose it for any reason. I've never lost anything, but you know.
Well, we're getting towards the end. I've got a question here that I think we've probably covered as we've gone along, actually. But it was how do you see the future for video? Especially for the Aston Martin Owners Club as its official videographer. Anything that you've not already said that you'd want to add to
that? I want to get pretty much every main model type, not all the variations, but I want to have some sort of film on every model on your channel. You know, you're the Aston Martin Owners Club. We need, you know, even if we perhaps, and this is me thinking outside the box here, you know, we contact, you know, all your members and say, hey, right, we want this car, we want this car, we want this car. We make a film of all these cars. We need to get the channel up. It needs to be a library. It needs to be a historical place, library where people can tap into to see these cars, to see the beauty. You know, I want to film them. I want to get them on there. Even if it's just a few minutes, just something, I think they need to be documented. We need to bring the channel up to speed. We need to, you know, just all work together to see what do we need to show people, what's important, you know. And I think really it's about, you know, I will be speaking to Steve about this historical film because that's an important thing. So Steve, if you're watching, let's jump on that. And yeah, I think we just need to get the range of vehicles on there.
Yeah, as you know, I think that's a great idea, and I'll definitely do my best to champion that. And
yeah,
you can film Mike anytime you like.
Yeah, within what I filmed, I mean, there's a number of individual films I could create. I could create my, a DBR1. I mean, I filmed about 3 of them. One that was at Gaydon, one that I filmed at Donington, and one that went to Le Mans.
Any final comments, any final questions before we close up for the session? In that case, Simon, thank you once again for sparing your time for your debut live video presentation.
Well, hopefully I've done all right. So it's my first live. So.
I reckon so. We'll see what the comments and likes are afterwards, shall we?
Be kind. And hopefully to see you all soon. Hopefully, we will all get back out there soon.
Yeah.
And hopefully,
we'll see you at a concourse or something, filming a wide selection of cars.
Just come up to me. Anyone, just come up to me. Just ask me questions. If you need help, ask me. I'm not. I'm happy to help anyone. So.
I think that's come across pretty clearly. Thank you, Simon. So that's about it, really. Thank you, everybody, and cheerio, and enjoy your Astons.